Hello everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. I'm so glad you joined me today. I'll be making a double triangle fold card, and this is what it will look like. So let's get to it. This is a great way to use large image designer paper, and I'll be using this craft cardstock and also an 18-inch ruler. It's an extra long ruler, and you'll see why I'll need this. So my gridded mat comes in very handy. I'm going to make myself little tick marks at opposite corners, and I'm lining that up vertically and horizontally with the lines on my grid to make sure I'm right in that corner, because it's so important that this goes right down a perfect diagonal. Next, I'll use my 45-degree mark. You don't have to have a grid, you don't have to have any of this. You can just simply use an extra long ruler and mark from corner to corner with your pencil. The main thing is to make sure you're lined exactly with each corner. Okay, I'm giving myself a good mark because visually this helps me so much. You think you can see corner to corner fine till you try to line that up with a ruler or eyeball it. It just doesn't work out. Ask me how I know. I've done this quite a few times. So as another little step, I'm going to realign the diagonal line that I marked with my pencil, again on that 45-degree angle. And I'm going to take a blade here and run it right along my pencil mark. Now this won't cut completely through the cardstock, but it will create a good channel for me to cut my cardstock down this diagonal. Now this 11-inch paper would not fit on the diagonal in my Fiskars paper trimmer, so I'm going to take my scissors and run right along that channel, giving me an exact diagonal cut from corner to corner. This has to be very precise or your fold will not come out correctly. So there are two card bases ready for you to go. Now you can visit my blog at the link listed below for all directions and dimensions that I used for making this card. So on the 8.5-inch side I score at 4 1/4, and on the 11-inch side I'm going to score at 5.5 inches, and you can see my score lines meet each other there at that point. Alright, then I'll just take my bone folder and reinforce these score lines, folding the flaps up to create my card base. And there is our double triangle fold card. Next, I will be looking at my designer paper, deciding on what part of the image I want for my card. So on the card front, I'm going to be going by 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I was able to get 2 panels out of that beautiful paper. Now you can decide if you want to do your card front horizontally or vertically, and which way you want the flaps to open. You have several options here, as you can see. I decided I like my card opening the left side going down and the right side going to the right. So that's how I'm going to adhere the panels on my cards. Today I'll just be working with this bird panel. So then I'm going to bring over my Fiskars paper cutter, and I'm going to take that 4-inch by 5 1/4 inch panel, and I'm going to cut the same diagonal on my designer paper that I have on my card base. So I'll line the corners up in the channel of my paper cutter, and this particular cutter has a wire going down the channel, which helps me make sure I'm going exactly corner to corner on my designer panel. So I'll just give that a quick cut. And there are 2 pieces for the front of our card. Next I bring over my silicone mat that Now this is just a silicone mat that's actually made for a microwave turntable, and you can find it in any kitchen section. What happens is when you use this tape runner like I am right up to the edge, because it's very important that it fits exactly with the cut lines on your card base, when you use it over silicone mat, the adhesive will not stick to the silicone. So as you can see when I bring over my card base, it's not sticking from any residual adhesive. It's great for the tape runner as well as liquid adhesive. If you get anything on your mat, you just take your paper and rub it right off. I'll do the same thing for the second part of my designer paper. And I check and double check that will be adhering this to the right side of my card base. So I'm going to just lightly position this along this bottom edge. And then I'll close my card to make sure that it's aligned with the other panel before I give it a good press. Alright, and there is our double triangle fold card. Now I'm just going to add a sentiment using Hampton Art Kimberly Sable Clear stamps. And I stamped that on a circle. Gonna go around that with some Memento brown ink. And you can use any sentiment if you have a sticker, a chipboard, use a punch, use a die, use anything you have. What this is going to do is serve as a little extra closure for my card. And you'll see what I mean here in just a second. So I'll get those put together, and that will go on the front of my card. Now to help me, I will use a little bit of washi tape, get my sentiment where I want it, and align that washi tape with the diagonal cut. And the reason I do this is because I only want to glue on the left side of my medallion. So this gives me a visual line of where I need to apply the adhesive. Only on one side, because we don't want to glue our card shut. That's not the objective here. Okay, and I leave my washi tape on so I can realign it with that diagonal cut. That way I know I've got my adhesive just on the side where I need it. And again, that kind of helps our card front stay together. So the only other thing I did was to stamp a sentiment on the inside that says thinking of you, and I used that same Memento brown, and that finishes my card for today. So I hope you get inspired to try this. It used minimal supplies. You can use whatever you have on hand, and it's a great way to use up designer paper that has large images. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe to my card blog or to my YouTube channel. I hope to see you real soon. Happy crafting, everyone!